All right, hello Algebra 2 classes. So today we're going to talk about solving systems. We're going to start our unit on systems. And the first way we'll solve systems is by graphing. You probably did this when you were in algebra. And so we're going to learn how to solve linear systems. All of ours will be linear. There are other types of systems, but we'll just be dealing with linear systems in this class. Okay. To get us going today, I want you to look at these equations and see if you can figure out this math riddle. What's going on and what's the answer to that last equation? What the heck are those numbers in the middle doing? See if we can figure it out. We'll pause here. Okay. What is a system of equations and how do I solve them by graphing? Well, first of all, a system of equations sounds complicated. A system is simply a set of two or more equations with two or more variables. So really all it means is anytime you have two or more lines put together and you're trying to find a solution to that. So a system of equations is just a couple lines, maybe 3 lines. All we'll be dealing with is 2. So here's a couple examples. All right, so when we solve a system, we said ours is going to be linear. So what are we trying to find? We're really trying to find the point that they both have in common. So the point that they both have in common, in this case, would be where they intersect. So that would be this point right here, and that's the point -2, 3. Now, if I were to plug that into the red equation, the equation for that line, you'll notice I would have 3 equals -2 plus 5, which would give us 3 equals 3. In other words, when I plug this in, this is a true statement, okay? And so, well, what if I plug it into the other one? Okay. Okay, so I get 3 equals 4 minus 1, which is also a true statement. That checks out. So really what happens is when you take this point right here and plug it into the equation for both lines, you get a true statement. In other words, this is the only point that they both have in common that will be true for both of them. So we call this a solution to the system, and that's what we're trying to find. We can do this by 3 different ways: graphing, substitution, and elimination. You may recall this from previous classes. Today we're going to really just focus on that first one, how to use graphing. When we graph, we really have 3 options. When we graph, we can get one solution where they intersect. We might get no solutions. If the 2 lines are parallel, they don't cross, so you might have no solution. And then sometimes you'll have 2 lines that are right on top of each other and they cross everywhere on that line, so infinitely many solutions. We probably won't deal with this one quite as much, but we will see the other 2. Okay. So how do I solve a system? We are going to use our graphing calculators. You can do this by hand, but since we have our graphing calculators, we're going to utilize their power. So it says solve each system. We'll start with this one here on the left. It says y equals 4x plus 1 and y equals 1/2 x plus 8. Now, what I'm going to do is open up my graphing calculator. Before I do that, here are the steps that you can reference that I'm about to go through. So you can always come to this slide and pause the video here, but I'm gonna just go through one and then we'll show that again. So here's how it works. Let's open up. Okay, now you'll notice I have some, this was previously, I have a few things. It hasn't been reset. I would strongly encourage you to close out your MCA calculator and that way it'll reset. So that stuff that we were doing with the curve fitting, then it resets. That'll make it a little bit easier for us to navigate. We won't have to fix anything. So I'm gonna open that back up and just start it anew. So if you're in that boat, please do that as well. Okay, so I've got my calculator. Now, I need to enter the two equations. Notice they were both in y equals form. Again, just to take a look, they were y equals 4x plus 1 and y equals 1/2 x plus 8. So we're going to type those in, and let's do that. So in order to enter the equations into the calculator, they must be in y equals form, solved for x. Because there's a y equals button in that upper left, so I press that. It's highlighted in red there. Now you can see in the upper left. So we're going to press y equals. Now we're going to type in our two equations. Two equations were 4x. Now the x button is right next to the green theta button, or green alpha button, excuse me. It says x, t, theta, n. That's the one that you want. So 4x and then plus 1. Okay. Now you're just going to go down arrow key to type in the second one. The second one was 1/2 x plus 8. Now with this graphing calculator, the TI-84, when you see fractions, you want to put them in parentheses. So I'm going to go parenthesis 1 divided by 2, close the parenthesis, x plus 8. So that's 1/2 x plus 8. That's really the only thing you gotta keep track of. Okay, so now that you've entered them, you're just going to press graph in the upper right. Okay, so now there we go. We've got our two lines. We want to know where they cross. To figure that out, you'll notice above the trace button, it says calculate. We're going to do that. So we're going to press second and then trace. We are looking for where they intersect. So you're going to press 5, which is intersect. It'll put a cursor on the first line. You're going to press enter. It's going to put a cursor on the second line. You're going to press enter. Sometimes you'll have more than 2 lines in upper level math classes, so we just want to pick the 2. It'll say, do you want me to guess? I'm just going to press enter one more time, and then it'll put the cursor on where they cross. And you'll notice the intersection says 2 and 9. So you're going to write that answer as an ordered pair on your assignment. So here, we'll do that here. So make sure it's written as an ordered pair. This is the point where these two lines intersect, is the point 2, 9. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, go ahead and do the second one and make sure that that makes sense. And I'm going to do that here. We'll pause here. We end up with -8, 1. Okay, so that's how you solve a system using your graphing calculator TI-84. One quick note, occasionally you will graph and you'll have 2 parallel lines. So what will that look like? Well, let me just put a couple in here. You know what the parallel lines look like. They just have the same slope. So maybe you have -8 x plus 1 and -8 x minus 5. Okay, now notice they're parallel. So if I try to go ahead and calculate, I'll go second calc, or trace, and then enter, enter, enter. And it says no sign change. That means they don't cross, there's an error. So this is where you're gonna write no solution. So if you have that, that means they're parallel, so there's no solution. So that would be the case for if you encounter 2 parallel lines, that's what it looks like. You'll write no solution, or you can do the symbol for NOR solution if you'd like, which is that. Okay, so here are the steps. You can use this. This is what we just went through. And you can keep that up during your assignment if you need to. Here's what I want you to do. Solving systems by graphing worksheet. There's 9 problems. Probably won't take you too long. One thing I would like you to start to get in the habit of doing is using your assignment book that you were given at the beginning of the year and writing in that. Maybe you have developed your own planner, but you need to start using something to keep track of stuff. So for today, I'd like you to write in, open up your planner. Looks like this. And for today, write in solving systems by graphing worksheet for under your assignment. Okay, so you've got that for today. Okay, that's it. Good luck.